What's going on, guys? It is Foxy98 here, and welcome back to a brand new F1 2017 career mode video for you guys today here on my channel. Today we're here for the Canadian Grand Prix, and as you can see, to start things off, we managed to complete the first 6 races without actually having to replace our gearbox, which means for the Canadian Grand Prix, we actually get to take a brand new gearbox with no penalty whatsoever, which I believe is it's actually the very first time that I've ever gone and done a complete full 6 races without needing to change my gearbox. But anyway, as you can see, as we come on to the Canadian Grand Prix, we are looking at the R&D tree, and as you can see, we've got 1 week left for the engine power for the pistons, and we've got 3 weeks left for the ultimate upgrade to come through on the engines. We've got a lot of stuff going on, and then in terms of the chassis and the aerodynamics, I'm not going to be doing any work on them as I'm still very, very close to Mercedes and Ferrari, and I'm doing all my work on the engine, and then as soon as we get that final upgrade that we're looking at for the engine, then we can start putting our resource points and take them over towards the chassis side of things and also the aero. So that's where we're going with that. But before we get into this video, I need to have a little bit of chat about career mode. Basically, I tweeted this out last night. If you don't follow me on Twitter, that's, you know, if you ever need to get in contact for whatever reason, that's where I'm always active. So in terms of, you always see my Facebook and Twitter in the description down below. Twitter is where I'm always active if you ever need to contact me for whatever reason, or just, you know, whatever. But anyway, so what I needed to talk about is what I tweeted last night, is that career modes are starting to get very, very difficult for me. 50% races, I never do them for my challenge videos, simply because of the time that I have to make videos is actually not a lot whatsoever. And it's starting to take a toll now on career mode races. At the moment, basically, I just don't have the time to do 50% races in a career mode. These episodes, normally, when I'm recording them from practice, qualifying, and the race, on average, they're about 1 hour and 50 minutes long. That's just the recording session. Then after that, I have to go through the entire piece of footage, the entire 2-hour footage, and I've got to edit all of that down. Now, depending if the race has got a lot of action in it or not, depends on how long it takes to edit. Now, obviously, that then means I have to do all of that editing, and then, of course, I have to spend the next 20, maybe 30 minutes recording the actual post-commentary for these videos. Then I have to leave it to render. So overall, it takes a hell of a lot of time to make these career mode videos, which is why the career modes have obviously now gone down to just 2 a week rather than me doing it every day, which I used to do when the game first came out. So I'm going to come up with a little bit of an ultimatum, and that is, would it be fine to, I'm going to start now changing to do 25% races rather than 50% races. Now, the reason that I do 50% races in the first place is because, you know, it switches up the strategy a little bit, but in this game, you never really see a 2-stop anymore. It's just a 1-stop every time, so what's the point in doing a 50% race of a 1-stop when I can just do a 25% race of a 1-stop? And that's where I'm kind of going with it. So I believe now for future episodes, I am going to be reducing it to 25% races. I just don't have the time to do 50% races, and I need to start getting myself sorted because I've got a lot of stuff going on in university, which is obviously the main reason for this, and I now have deadlines and presentations that I've got to start doing for everything that I'm making, and I need the time to make sure everything is perfect before then. So yeah, I'm going to be I'm going to be dropping to 25% races from the Azerbaijan Grand Prix onwards, and yeah, hopefully this isn't frustrating, but it's the only thing I can do, or it's no career mode videos, and I don't want to ditch career mode. So let's get into this weekend then. It's Canadian Grand Prix, probably one of my strongest weekends so far. I felt absolutely brilliant in practice, got all the practice programs sorted. It's Q3, you can see that we've got literally 1 second left, nothing, and just across the line there, with a couple of tenths of a second to spare to get another lap in. I wasn't happy with the lap that I was on right now, so I had to rush it to the start-finish line to get a proper lap in. And as you can see here, we're now down in P7, and we are 9 tenths up on the Delta. A little bit funny through the second part of the chicane there, not as quite as active as I wanted, but we come now towards the start-finish line here, just giving it everything we got on across the line there. It is going to be a front row start for myself here today, and as you can see, P2 on the grid, my best qualifying session so far, and that is absolutely awesome, and I'm really, really happy with that one. Hamilton there on pole position with a 110.4, we're just 2 tenths behind on a 110.6, and then Vettel and then the rest of the field couldn't even get into the 1 minute 10, so we were so quick this weekend, and I felt really, really hooked up around Canada, and I knew I could be strong around here. It's a track that I love driving on this game, and I just seem to be very, very strong against the AIs. So Anyway then, let's have a look at the goals then from our agent. She's probably going to tell us that she wants us to win the race because, you know, she's very, very horrible. No, it's just get a podium, actually. I lied. And beat Sebastian Vettel and place third in the championship for this weekend. So, not a bad set of targets to go through, but we're just going to see how we can do in this Grand Prix because, of course, anything can happen in Formula 1. And as you can see then, having a run through of the entire grid, then Sir Hamilton and myself take up the front row. Vettel and Bottas half second slow and have to slot in behind. Raikkonen is next. Ocon, great qualifying session. Daniel Ricciardo, still a long way down the order. I've been outperforming against Daniel Ricciardo all season long. He just hasn't really stepped up, and the only reason that we're top in the Constructors' Championship is because of the work that I'm having to do to get these victories, get these podiums, because Ricciardo, not really doing that much, unfortunately, but that's, you know, that's the way it is. But we're going to get on into the race then, and as you can see, we're going to have a little bit of a different Grand Prix. We are going to be seeing some rain, which is going to take up most of this Grand Prix, but we're going to be starting on the ultra soft tires, and I'm going to try and take the ultra softs straight to the rain stint. I don't want to go and, you know, go on to a new set of ultras or even a new set of supers to then go to the rain. I'm going to try and do a simple one stop from ultras to inters to the end. That's the plan. That's what I hope to do. But we'll just have to see how we get on then. So the formation lap is underway here, and we're going to skip this very, very quickly. And as you can see then, onto the grid now, we have got 5 red lights here for this Canadian Grand Prix. And it is lights out. We go here to start the Canadian Grand Prix. It's been a slow and sluggish start for us, unfortunately. Not a good one here. Hamilton gets a great start. Vettel with a great start as well. Unfortunately, he's on the inside line, so I'm going to give him the room there, because if I try and dive bomb Lewis Hamilton into turn 1, Vettel will dive even further, and that means that he'll take the position. So I thought wisely about that, because it's something that AIs do tend to do a lot. So a little bit mind thinking there, if that's even a proper way to describe it. It's not. But onto the end of the first lap, then you can see that Hamilton has got the lead at the moment. You can see we're running some old engine units, but you can already see in this Grand Prix that Hamilton not pulling away. We're actually getting into the slipstream of him now, into rich mixture, towards the chicane. Can we make a move? No, we're too far back to make any sort of maneuvers, but we've set ourselves up perfectly now. You can see the back end really sliding there as we're giving it everything on these apexes. And as you can see now, coming towards the start finish line here, in towards turn 1, we're gonna make a lunge right here up the inside here of Lewis Hamilton, but unfortunately it's not going to work for us, and Hamilton holds it off, and around the outside in towards turn 2, Hamilton sticks it there. But it's our first little warning to Lewis Hamilton that we are waiting for an attack on Hamilton. And on to lap 3 of the Grand Prix now. DRS has been enabled really close to the back of Hamilton's car, running wide on the exit there. Vettel might go for a little bit of an undercut there, but he doesn't quite make it stick. And now we've got a better run this time, but Vettel right behind us in this stage, but DRS is active, and we're going to use this to our advantage. But unfortunately, that hairpin's cost me quite a lot now as we come towards the chicane here. We're just not close enough to go for Hamilton, but we're going to try it nonetheless. Into the chicane, not work for us. Hamilton's compromised on the second area of the chicane. Here we go once again. DRS is active. Vettel in behind, Raikkonen behind, Bottas behind. We're going to swoop over to the outside line, for turn 1, but Hamilton sticks it. We've gone wide on the outside. Vettel now looking for a way past. We make a small mistake there. Going to have to shove Vettel wide. Raikkonen comes through and nicks third place, and it's all going on at the front of the field between myself, Hamilton, Raikkonen, and Vettel in the early stages of this Canadian Grand Prix. And on to the end, further on to lap 4 of this Grand Prix now. Hamilton is starting to hold me up quite a bit. I feel like I've got a lot of pace in this car, and I've now got to utilize all of what I've got. So it's time to get Hamilton out of the way. And as you can see now, with some DRS open, we're going to go and attack Hamilton. He's actually going to go defensive this time. He spotted that I've been going to the inside of the chicane. I'm going to go to the outside though this time, and straight past we go. Look at the speed the Red Bull has given me there. The Renault engine has just blitzed past the Mercedes-powered Mercedes, and now we're up into the lead of the Grand Prix. Raikkonen getting very close to the wall there against Lewis Hamilton. This time Hamilton locks up into turn 1. Raikkonen around the outside is going to switch to the inside though, in for turn 2, and Raikkonen makes this one stick, and he just, oh, that was so close for a puncture there from Kimi Raikkonen, getting really tight to Hamilton's front nose there, and then we can carry on our way. On to lap 11 of the Grand Prix now, and things have started to settle down, but Raikkonen is about 1.5 seconds behind, so I can't hold back. But Bottas here, this is, oh god, Valtteri Bottas with a horrible problem. There was a yellow flag in the chicane, and I just caught this at a late point. Bottas has had a problem with one of the Renaults, a Hulkenberg, and then he's gone and spun himself into the wall here, and then a Sauber's gone and ploughed into the back of him to spin him round there. So for 2 races in a row now, Valtteri Bottas, and there it is, look, Hulkenberg had a puncture. I believe Bottas may have like locked up or like gone side by side and went into the wall like they do, and there's Hulkenberg there. And then he got a massive whack from one of the Saubers, so That's really unfortunate for Bottas. 2 races in a row now that he's had some sort of an issue. And as you can see, the virtual safety car does come out for Hulkenberg. But as you can see, the rain is now falling in this Grand Prix. And Raikkonen, you can see there, just behind me. So he's not exactly letting off the gas as Kimi Raikkonen. He's going to try and attack me. And yeah, 7/10 back, in fact. So you can see there as we just go wide into the hairpin, losing grip all the time because the rain did come down very, very fast. And the lap after the virtual safety car came out, it is actually now time to get onto a set of intermediates. It's too wet now. Kimi Raikkonen came into the pits for a set of soft tyres at the end. Oh, back end coming out there. At the end of lap 12, Raikkonen came in for a set of soft tyres. So he's going to have to pit the next lap for a set of intermediates. That's horrible for Kimi Raikkonen, which means that our closest rival is now Sebastian Vettel, a good 6 seconds back. But we're just going to dart it in towards the pit lane now. And for those people that are going to ask right now, how did you sprint into the pits at 100 miles an hour and not have a drive-through penalty? I don't use pit assist. I've said it many times, but of course, we always seem to be gaining new subscribers daily, which is absolutely fantastic. Obviously, people obviously need to know these questions. So I don't run with pit assist. I find it all very, very strange and clunky. So I stay away from it. So if you're wondering every time why I sort of like drive straight into the pits, get no penalty whatsoever, I don't. I use pit assist because I just find the new mechanics coming into the pits, holding shift, neutral, you know, all that stuff. I just find it really clunky and just not very, very smooth. So I stay away from that, which is why I drive like that really fast into the pits. Away from that then. So, we're now out of the pits here, but unfortunately for Sebastian Vettel and Ocon behind, they've all been held up in the pits because they were a lot closer to everybody than I was, and that's kind of given me the freedom to run away with it. On to lap 23 of the Grand Prix now, and as you can see here, we've got some problems. Oh no, it's the 2 Force Indias. There's only one thing that's going to happen here. Ocon's locked up, Perez has gone wide, he's sort of given Ocon a little smack there, and that's Ocon straight into the wall, and Perez is mad. Oh dear, the Force Indias, they just can't seem to keep a clean bit of racing going on. Even in this game, they still end up crashing into each other. In fact, Ocon sort of made that one himself, to be honest. He sort of locked up multiple times and just smashed into the wall there. But onto that 31 here, we're trying to catch up to Romain Grosjean to lap him, and unfortunately, he blocks me on the chicane, and then he decides to completely turn into me and be an utter plum sack. So thank you very much, Grosjean, for being an annoying person and not getting out of the way. He is completely blocking me, as Grosjean would say in his fellow voices. But onto lap 35 of the Grand Prix now. Yeah, that was a really, really quiet Grand Prix, to be honest. As soon as we transitioned to the wet tyres, or the wet phase of the Grand Prix, the race calmed down. But across the line then, to win at the Canadian Grand Prix, and I believe that is our 3rd win in a row. It is. We've got a hat-trick here, so we've suddenly found our feet with this Red Bull in our career mode, and we're starting to take some big results. But yeah, in the dry, the gap was stuck at 1.5 seconds. I couldn't actually get close what was it? I couldn't get away, sorry, from Kimi Raikkonen. It was stuck at 1.5 seconds. It would go down to 1.1 seconds, and then in the final sector, I'd pull that gap back up to 1.6, and it would keep dropping and stay neutral. Raikkonen then came into the pits for a set of soft tyres, and if it wasn't raining, he probably would have actually got in front, because he would have had the undercut on me in that scenario. And also with Lewis Hamilton, because he came in way earlier than I did, like 3 or 4 laps ago. But then as soon as the wet period came, I came into the pits. Everyone else got held up. I had a 7 or 8 second lead, and I could just drive it to the finish line, really. So once again, as much as I was fast in the wet, it's just other drivers and other AIs making mistakes. Bottas span out. Who knows where he could have been at the end of this race. He made contact, hit the wall. Hamilton came in very early, recovered to finish third. Vettel wasn't on the pace. Raikkonen came in when he shouldn't have. You know, it's these mistakes that just keep totting up for the AIs, which I really need fixed, to be honest, because it's all good and fine saying, you know, up the difficulty and all that, but it's also not fine when the AIs always make mistakes and always suffer. And unfortunately for them, I just have faultless races, and we made the one-stop work. Everybody else came in for a second pit stop for another set of intermediate tyres, whereas I didn't. I just had better tyre wear, and I simply did the one-stop, Ultra Softs to Inters to the end, whereas everybody else did the likes of Ultra Softs to Super Softs or Softs, then to Inters, then to a new set of Inters. So they did like 3-4 stops. You can see that only me and Vettel really did less stops, and Vettel still made 2 stops in that Grand Prix. in the Drivers' Championship. Nonetheless, though, we're 59 points clear now, and we need to get those points advantage because we're coming towards some tracks that I'm not happy with. The likes of Silverstone, I'm not very quick at. Hungary is also a bit of a slow one, so they're coming up in the future. So we need to take advantage of the tracks that I know that I'm best at before we start getting to the ones that I struggle at. And you can see then we get a new core competency progress, which is pit stop efficiency. But guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's career mode. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. If you have, feel free to drop it a like. And if you're new around here as well and you enjoy the content you do watch, feel free to subscribe and click the bell so you get notifications when I want to upload a video. And I will see you guys next time. Take care all. Peace.